Welcome to First Steps to Al-Anon Recovery from Al-Anon Family Groups. This podcast will discuss a professional's concern for families whose loved ones have a drinking problem and for the professionals who treat them. Cynthia Moreno Tuohy is the Executive Director of the National Association of Alcoholism and Drug Addiction Counselors. The organization was founded in 1974 as the National Association of Alcoholism Counselors and Trainers and has evolved and expanded over the years into the Association of Addiction Professionals, which it is today. Cynthia, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Pat.
Can you tell us a little about the connection between families, the Association for Addiction Professionals, and Al-Anon family groups?
Yes. So NAADAC, the Association for Addiction Professionals, are people who specialize in addictive disorders, and their work is addiction-focused. And so because of that, many of our counselors across the nation and now across the globe work with family members. Family members are concerned. Often referrals are made by family members. And so that's one connection. Another connection is that often in the work that we do, we're also training or giving information, education to family members so they understand the addictive disorder and they also understand how to work with it. So we're in relationship there. And then we've also been in relationship with Al-Anon International with the Recovery Month and Recovery Month events across the United States where we're partnering to really make awareness to community about addictive disorders. And the hope, of course, is to get more individuals who need addiction treatment into treatment or services and their family members. And so often it is the family that promotes that individual to get the help that they need.
For counselors and therapists, how important is family recovery today in their successful treatment of the individual alcoholic?
It's the most important thing. You know, family is what is the support system that either is going to get healthier and help build that safety net, or the family is going to continue in patterns that are not so helpful to themselves as well as to the person who is addicted. And we know that we're going to have generational families. So not only is the addictive disorder, alcohol or drug addiction, genetic, we also know that recovery now is cellular. And so if an individual gets recovery and they pass that on to their family members, the possibility for recovery from trauma, recovery from negative patterns, all of that begins to change in the family system. And that's what we want to see. We want to see individuals and families get healthier. And our further belief is that as we get healthier as individuals and families, our communities get healthier. So it builds stronger, healthier communities across the nation and across the globe.
Do you recommend that counselors and therapists send their clients' family members to Al-Anon?
Absolutely. You know, for many people, that's the first stop for them to even understand what they have power over or ability to touch, what they don't have ability to touch. Also, every family member needs to feel included in recovery. Every family member needs to feel that they have support because it's a lonely path sometimes when you're by yourself. I am a family member from addiction and I'm a person in recovery as well. So, you know, I have both of those. I'm a double dipper. So I have both of those things going on. And without having the education and background that I have, I would start feeling pretty alone, pretty by myself, and pretty much like some of this is my fault. When you go to Al-Anon, you begin to learn some of the skills and some of the ways of approaching family members that are healthier, and you get the support that you need. So I think family is the most important thing that we deal with.
As an author, how would you describe the ideal audience for your articles and books?
Well, you know, I think it affects everybody. I think family members definitely, people with addictive disorders or trauma. So we know that a lot of people who have addictive disorders also have trauma. But there are people who are traumatized who aren't addicted, and yet they still need to recover. I don't know a person that it's not helpful for because it actually helps people to understand how your brain works in conflict as well as how your brain works in addictive disorders and how your brain can work better to have healthier relationships and to recover from whatever it is that we're all recovering from. I can't believe that there isn't a person in society that doesn't have something, right? Something to recover from.
Well, thank you. That includes a lot of us.
Yeah.
Do you recommend that clients such as recovering alcoholics ask their family members to attend Al-Anon family groups?
We do. Part of our protocols typically in treatment is what's happening for the family. Let's not forget the family. So making sure that that information gets across. A lot of our treatment centers do family information nights or family treatment, and then Al-Anon is talked about there as well. In all my years of experience, it's been really one of the foundational pieces to recovery for individuals and for families. It is a foundational piece.
When behavioral changes in young people or adults indicate a drinking problem, it can be a challenging time for many families. The young people might be high school or college students, and the adults might be parents or spouses. Are there more opportunities today for families to recover from the impacts of a loved one's drinking?
I believe that there are more opportunities. I think one of the opportunities is media. We have more information going out. We have social media. There's more young people looking at this and responding to it. I think the other thing is that we have more access. There's more meetings now in more locations. I was in Bali November a year ago and doing a conference for the World Federation. There were like 800 people there, and almost half of them were family members, and they were getting good information about how the family can recover, and they also had their Al-Anon information, and so they were feeling more empowered themselves and more ready to help other families. So we're passing forward the ability for people to recover when we link them up with good information and good support. And I think that gives us more possibilities. The other thing I'll say is we are seeing now in the Affordable Care Act that families can get treatment and have it paid for. So this is very encouraging because sometimes we pass on our family dysfunction or our family difficulties, and this opportunity to get treatment, to learn how to have healthy families, is encouraging because a lot of people don't get family treatment because they can't afford it. And a lot of agencies can't afford to give it for free because there's so many other free services that they give. So I'm very excited about the Affordable Care Act because I think it's going to open up the door for more services and therefore healthier families.
Is there anything you'd like to add to this discussion about connections between families, the Association for Addiction Professionals, and Al-Anon family groups?
The other thing that is on our website for families is that we give information of counselors that are trained in certain areas, like certified counselors or people that have been trained in substance abuse professionals, like for employment issues, when somebody gets on the job, kind of called in for drinking on the job or a urine screen that is contaminated with drugs, and they have to go to a counselor to find out if they have a problem. Well, we have on our website counselors from across the country, so people can go on there and learn. We also do a lot of advocacy, and part of the advocacy is funding for things like family treatment. And so they're welcome to go on and see that. And then we have our own bookstore. So people who want to read about addictive disorders or they want to understand more about addiction, we have that. And eventually we will have my new book on the bookstore as well, Rein in Your Brain, From Impulsivity to Thoughtful Living. So that will be on our bookstore. Right now it's on Amazon.com, and it's with Hazelton Publishers.
Well, thank you very much, Cynthia, for talking with us about connections between families, the Association for Addiction Professionals, and Al-Anon family groups.
Well, you're welcome.
And thank you, everyone, for listening to First Steps to Al-Anon Recovery. You're welcome to listen to any of the Al-Anon family group podcasts at alanon.org. On the Al-Anon website, you can find a complete copy of Al-Anon Faces Alcoholism, which is Al-Anon's annual publication. You're also welcome to attend a face-to-face meeting of Al-Anon family groups in your own community by clicking on How to Find a Meeting, or by calling toll-free 1-888-4-AL-ANON. Thank you for listening to First Steps to Al-Anon Recovery from Al-Anon family groups.